For lunch?
Yes.
That's okay. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoy this. Now, hopefully we started the talk in a very stress-free environment, which is lovely. But the topic of today, as you know yourself, is stress and how to manage stress. We also put a bit of focus on women's health and women's stress. I will just mention to a couple of ladies beforehand. I'm blessed to have a lovely wife and 3 daughters at home, and I was brought up with 3 sisters, so I'm almost a woman, I say sometimes. But what's really important is I see how much stress you as mothers, sisters, daughters go through, and it's amazing the effect of stress on your body and your adrenal gland, which we're going to talk about, and how important it is for your health and well-being later on in life as well. Just before one more lady is coming through as well. Hi. Would you like, we just started, we haven't done anything. Would you like to grab some noise? You can take a seat, no problem. There is a package for you there as well, so you can take a seat. No problem. So who here actually thinks they encounter stress every day? Already, that's right, newborn mum, yeah, that's right, yes. So if you have a look at, sorry, I'm going to use this as well if you don't mind. I'm getting old and my memory is not very good. So stress is basically the natural response of the body to some form of challenge. Something that you view as a challenge. And it could be different from one person to another, because what you view as a challenge could be different to someone next to you. And we're going to talk about why you would view that as a stress and what you're going to do about it as well. It's very interesting when you actually look at the research. No stress is actually detrimental to the body. You actually need stress to be able to keep the body going and actually functioning well. The problem that we have is the fact that, however, we are faced with the exact opposite, which is too much stress. Now, we're finding that small amount of stress at a period of time actually allows the body to go into fight-flight kind of response, and hence everything, kind of all the systems in your body go off on the toes, and in a way the function gets better as well. What basically happens, however, is the fact that when you're exposed to too much stress, would that be either a humongous amount of stress in one go, or what we usually face, which is a small amount of stress just doesn't end. We just keep going. The body gradually starts to actually become, in a way, destroyed. So we're going to talk about that as well, and what we're going to try to do is to show you how you can actually manage that stress and why this is really important as well. Now, do you know what in your body controls your stress or responds to stress?
Adrenal glands.
Adrenal gland, thank you very much. And anybody knows what kind of hormones adrenal gland? Actually, do you know what adrenal gland is? Have you heard of the adrenal gland? Yeah, so you probably hear the term that's been used. We talk about adrenal fatigue. You know, so you go, oh, so and so has got adrenal fatigue. Now, adrenal gland is a small gland that sits right on top of the kidneys. Now, what its job is to actually produce adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, and DHEA, which actually is in charge of your sex hormones as well. We just got one more lady coming as well. I'll just wait for that one. Sorry? I'm very stressed. With all these ladies in my room, it's very stressful.
I'm sorry, I'm late.
Look, I'll show you some food and that's what you like to get. I try to I try to get away from all of them in my life, and look what I end up with. Yeah, gosh. So you find that in a short-term stress, as we said, the body actually copes really well and releases those hormones that actually get the body going really well as well. What we actually have got, however, is certain circumstances and certain people seem to be responding to that stress and actually getting fatigued quite a bit as well. So what you find is that you either have got external factors which are causing your stress, or what we call internal factors which are responding to that stress as well. So external factors, you find that what we talk about eustress, we talk about acute stress, episodic acute stress, and chronic stress. Now what I mean by that is, you find that eustress is actually a good stress that you have. So that's that achieving a challenge, for example, finishing an essay you have to do, or even finishing housework that potentially could be seeing my kids in the house is amazing. Within 10 minutes, suddenly the house is turned upside down as well. So achieving that task, which may actually be rather stressful, is actually ends up to be a good stress that keeps the body going as well. The acute stress is basically short-term stress. So you know that, for example, you're going to get through a task, you're going to get through a challenge, and that short-term stress, as I said, even though it could have a detrimental effect, but because it's short, the body recovers really well and gets the organs in the body to work really well too. The moment that becomes chronic stress, the body goes up, produces cortisol in response to the stress, which is a hormone that adrenal gland produces. But rather than dropping down back to normal, because it doesn't drop down, it just continues on. And because of that continued effect of cortisol production, now you're going to get the detrimental effect on your body. Now, there's certain people who actually respond really well with the stress, they actually thrive on the stress more than anything else. But what we're actually finding, there's certain people who actually are able to cope with it better than other people. And that simply comes down to different personalities. Now, when you're actually talking about different personalities, who here define themselves as being a perfectionist? Okay. Who here define themselves as being people pleasers? Who here finds it difficult to say no? So, all you people are more geared towards actually being stressed and actually suffering of the effect of the stress. Now, why do we talk about the stress, and especially in women? We talk about the adrenal gland. Now, a normal part of aging in females is going through perimenopausal and menopausal stage of life as well, where actually the hormonal imbalances start to happen, the pituitary gland doesn't function as it's supposed to, and hence you're going to have those imbalances with the progesterone and estrogen as well. And it's quite interesting that you actually find that adrenal gland, which is job throughout life, is actually managing the stress, actually reverses its job to actually controlling your sex hormones, your estrogen and progesterone. DHEA at the same time as well, managing that kind of balance in your body. So I find that the moment I have female patients who are basically from age 30 onwards, I tend to talk about the adrenal function and managing adrenal function quite in depth, simply because basically later on in life, from age 40, 45 onwards, as you probably know yourself as well, those hormonal imbalances start to take place. Now, if adrenal function is not maintained in your early years in life, unfortunately later on in life you find that you're actually not going to have that correct balance with your sex hormones either. Now, some of the symptoms of the stress, sweating, for example, what else? What else we got? What else do you think? Vanessa, when you get the stress, what do you get?
Headaches.
Aches?
Headaches.
Headaches, that's right.
Sleeplessness. Pains in my stomach.
And your stomach. Thank you, and I'll talk about it actually. Thank you.
Yeah, no sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
Yeah, butterflies in the stomach.
Butterflies, yeah. Anybody else has got any other function, any other symptoms? Increased heartbeat.
What's that with your nerves?
Yeah, your nerves are just getting a little bit, yeah, that's right, yes. Anxiety, yeah, that's good. And it's quite interesting, so talking about this, we got headaches, we got anxiety, we got anger, irritability, and I'll keep going actually with that. You could even have overeating or undereating as well. I know when the Austrian top comes out for me as well. Angry outbursts, relationship issues. Sometimes even you go into negative kind of reactions to stress, such as alcoholism, or not even alcoholism, but just drinking, basically, and smoking, which is in a way a form of some women just go, yes, yes. So it is basically in a way avoidance strategy. You know, let's just forget about it. It's more than anything else, even though it's not addressing the issue. Avoiding people, actually. You know, when you are stressed, the last thing you want to be around other people. Just leave them alone. Just let them. But at the same time, you find you get a lot of muscle tension, you know, physical tension, as you said yourself, nerve irritation as well, upset stomach, diarrhea, sleep disturbances. And the funny thing is, all of these stuff that we talk about, such as gut health, such as muscle ache, management of your muscle tension, such as sleep issues, it's quite interesting to actually be able to manage the stress. You need all of those things to manage as well. What is the best thing to manage stress and fatigue? Sleep. And it's funny that it's actually like a vicious cycle. You know, because you're not asleep, you are more fatigued. Lack of sleep itself leads to more muscle tension as well anyway. You find that you get a foggy brain, you're not able to think very well, which means that that stress that potentially could have been managed a lot better now feels like an absolute mountain you cannot climb. So it kind of becomes a vicious cycle. And actually breaking it is exactly in the opposite way as well. And hopefully we're going to talk about how we can achieve that as well today. Talking about the muscle ache as well, very interesting again with adrenal gland, a chronic adrenal fatigue, and which will lead to adrenal exhaustion, is actually linked to your gut system as well. And I'm not sure if you noticed about this, but the gut actually controls over 90% of immunity. It's so when people talk about gut health and the fact that if you heal your gut, everything else will start to improve as well. It's actually quite true, because the moment that your gut health goes down the drain, immunity goes down the drain, which means you get sick more often, which you have more symptoms as well, which also then is linked to your cardiovascular health. And there have been some studies done linking the gut to actual cancer as well. So, you know, it's amazing how, you know, we talk about stress can kill you. Is that all cliche? But it's actually not that far from truth. The fact that when you look at all the symptoms of stress and how then either you exhibit signs of being ill and having dis-ease or disease, and then your gut health and the link to cancer, yes, it can actually kill you as well. What's also quite interesting is for you to appreciate that those signs of stress, if you look at signs of depression, they're very much quite similar as well. So we just got to be really mindful as well, knowing that if you don't manage your stress, either chemically and physically, emotionally, it can lead down that kind of a dark alley as well. I don't want to take too much of your time because we got lots of good stuff today as well, to making sure that you're going to get that stress off as well anyway. But just very quickly, I want to go through some of the causes of stress. So we talked about major life events. This could be negative and positive, funny enough. So death in a family, or getting married and having a child. Some mothers will probably say that having a child is not that joyful, but anyway, that's a different topic. Routine stress, and I think that's where most of us fall into that trap as well. Routine stress that just doesn't end. You know, would that be a workplace? Would that be a relationship, or would that be whatever that may be? That is just there every single day, and you've got to deal with that. And then traumatic stress, as we talked about as well anyway, which is quite interesting. We talk about post-traumatic disorder. You know, in the post-traumatic disorder, it doesn't necessarily have to be a very major thing. Again, it's going to come back to those personalities that we talked about. If we are more of an emotional person, we may actually have that post-traumatic disorder to an event that, from somebody else's perspective, may not be such a big deal. Anyway, do you guys know of a gentleman called Tim Ferriss? Have you heard of him? So Tim Ferriss, you may have heard of his books. He's written a number of books. He wrote a book called 4-Hour Work Week, and then 4-Hour Body, 4-Hour Chef, and he just wrote a book called Rules of Titans as well. So what he talks about, he's amazing, he's a genius what he does as well. And he admits in this recent book about a period of his life that he actually went through this period that to other people sounds not a big deal. He was at Stanford University. His thesis was going to be delayed for a year, and his lecturer told him that if you drop out now, it's going to be major consequences. And he actually tried to commit suicide. Being a very studious guy, it's quite a funny story. He went and found the book, How to Kill Yourself. So he went to the library and asked for this book because he wanted to find innovative ways of actually committing suicide. And that book was on hold, was on loan with somebody else, and he said, he always jokes about the fact that one day this guy going to bring it back, really, And anyway, what was interesting was the address of the library. He had forgotten to change it from his parents' house to his new house. So his mom gets a phone call from the library saying, hi, just wanted to let you know, Mr. Ferris, your book, How to Kill Yourself, has arrived. Would you like to come and pick it up? And so he received a phone call from his mom, and what the heck is going on? And he admits that he had never disclosed that to anyone, but he's so happy that obviously he never did that because in a way it's the most selfish act of getting all your pain, multiplying by 10 and dumping it on someone else's lap in a way. But what he talks about is the stress that he was going through, and when you look at it from outside, it's very negligible, but at that moment you are in that stressful environment, it can be such a humongous stress that you cannot actually overcome, and may lead you either to depression or to taking actions which are very dramatic. You see some pictures I put into your presentation which you have in there as well anyway. So cause of stress very quickly could be financial, family issue, personal health issue, trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, concern for the health of others, issues at the workplace. And we talked about how personality can play a major part as well. Now, let me go ahead and just point out what can we do to help ourselves as well. So, managing your well-being can help your management strategies as well. How you can actually manage, and this is called resilience. So, appreciating for the need for the wellness in physical, mental, emotional, and chemical. So, everything that you want to deal with when it comes to your health, you want to divide into 3 categories. So how can I help myself chemically? How can I help myself physically? How can I help myself in a mental and emotional manner as well? So stay connected with your family and friends. I'm sure sometimes all you need is someone to listen, someone just to talk to. We talked about some of those reactions to stress. One of the reactions was avoiding people, avoiding friends. You just don't want to talk about it because talking about it makes you stress. However, it's interesting that talking about it allows you to kind of, reach a conclusion and solution by yourself or with the help of someone else. Ideally, what you want to do, you want to talk about it as a stressful situation with someone who's not as biased. And hence, that's why we talk about sometimes seeing a psychologist, seeing a counselor, because they are not as invested in that negative kind of emotions that you have at that moment, allowing them to actually see the situation from a very unbiased angle as well. Talking to your sister, for example, it could be very different, even though sometimes very helpful and better than nothing, but sometimes it's good to talk to someone else who may not be as invested. Creating boundaries between work and family life as well. I know I myself have been guilty of that, the fact that for years and years and years, even my wife used to tell me, you're home, but you're not really home. And I remember that wake-up moment for me was, she said, Soroush, just got to be careful because the kids are getting used to you not being around. And I would be home, but you'll be alright. I would just on my phone, either sending emails or typing reports or whatever that may be. And you kind of realize that gradually, emotionally, physically, you do create that space to start to happen as well. And it's quite interesting. Recently, I had I tore my hip and I was out of action for a couple of months. And being home every day, I could just see the complete opposite. That being said, my dog really appreciated me more than my hip. But that's a separate topic. So, aiming to better manage your workload. It's quite interesting just looking at causes of stress and actually writing things down. It's so different to just thinking about it. For years, I used to listen to these motivational speakers, Anthony Robbins, John Campbell, and all these different people. They talk about you need to write things down. What would they do, kind of thing. And you think about things, and it's very interesting that actually taking that action and writing, I am pissed off with, and that pissed off with, would that be my husband, would that be my kid, would that be my work, whatever that may be, it's actually quite a powerful action to take. And I encourage you doing that when you get home. And I'll go through an example. For example, I am pissed off about working 40 hours a week, for example, and the beauty of that is the fact that then you go to the next column, which is solutions. So solution could be, I cannot work less than 40 hours a week. And that's completely opposite to what you just said. Or it could be, I can reduce my work hours to 30 hours, and I'll be happy there. Now, if it's the latter, and yes, you can reduce your hours of work, then perfect. Solution achieved. And you're actually going to be in a more better place, which obviously then is going to come down to you having the courage to make that step and go from 40 hours to 30 hours. However, the other option is, I am pissed off with my husband. Let's just say that, because probably my wife will say that. Okay? I am pissed off with working 40 hours a week. And the solution is not there. The solution is, I have to work 40 hours a week. For whatever reason that you obviously justify. And the beauty of this exercise is by writing it down, you go through basically seeing it with your eyes that, okay, there's no other solution, I have to work. And you will grieve. And it's okay to grieve because it actually gives you closure. Because you're actually now going to be able to achieve a result, even though the result did not change the original problem, but it's interesting that your stress response will be a lot less because now you've written it down, you made a conscious decision about what you're actually going to do and why you're doing that. So even though you're still going to go through the same pace and same problem, but the reaction of the body is going to be very different because now you actually made that transition as well. Does that make sense? Is that, scheduling regular breaks. One thing that I learned is from a very good friend of mine, that he used to actually head down, work 13 weeks, and he owns his own business. He basically had what he used to call BAS break. Now, anybody here owns their own business or involved in business? So BAS statements are what every business needs to submit on a quarterly basis. So every 3 months you're supposed to report to tax office how much you earn, how much GST you've accumulated or paid, and be able to get that done. And he used to have basically BAS break. So what he meant was the fact that he used to work 13 weeks and take a week off. And it was really interesting that he was saying that he still does, he actually looks forward to that 1 week, and hence he's able to focus on the 13 weeks, being able to achieve a lot out of that 13 weeks, and in a way justify one taking a week off, but also not being so stressed because he knew that he had something coming up to reward himself. And then gradually he went through this period of saying that every 3 months I had 1 week, and then every 6 months he would give himself 2 weeks off. Some of us who potentially are working and have 4 weeks annually probably even do more, but it's good to kind of break it up rather than working whole 12 months or 11 months and taking 4 weeks off, because it can drain you, as we just talked about. The adrenal gland going through that chronic distress can drain you as well. Monitoring your stress, as we just discussed about, look out for the warning signs. Am I getting more headaches than normal? Am I getting more muscle tension? Am I getting nervy? Am I getting a stomach ache? Am I not sleeping very well? And then go back through that exercise we just talked about. Find out what the stresses are and try to come up with a solution or grieve, if you have to. And the other thing was, through this process, try to find, you actually see the reasons why you going through that action that is potentially pissing you off. If you cannot change it, you can turn that stress from a negative connotation you may have to actually a reasonable exercise that you're going through. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah, okay. Regular exercise, which releases endorphins, the happy hormones, as you probably know. One thing that I always tell my patient is having some me time. And that's really important, having some time just for you. How many mothers here have that me time? Do you guys get a chance to have me time? Or is that just alcohol? That's the you know, and then the me time is not necessarily, oh, I need to go and have a bath. I look at my lifestyle, we won't have time to have a bath, you know. But a me time could be, you know, you just want to watch some of those guys who are probably my age, and watch an episode of Frasier or Friends, or you know, or you're just gonna, you know, share something with your partner, or whatever that may be as well that you might do. That could be just the me time. And if that is a time that allows you to kind of calm down and be able to get rid of those stresses, it will be quite helpful as well. We talked about writing down your kind of productive thoughts. Biasly, I do recommend my patient to take advantage of having massage and chiropractic. We do find it to be extremely helpful as well. Massage from a physical perspective and the muscle tension that we just talked about, allowing you also to have that as a me time as well. Chiropractic from the nervous system, being able to get your body to work in a more proper, by having your spine in more alignment as well. I'll be hanging around if anyone wants to ask me more questions about that. Eating well. I think everyone knows, we just talked about gut health already. Eating well itself, seeing a nutritionist, or just simply following good diets and good amount of nutrition. Just appreciate that certain amount of the counterproductive behavior that we have, such as getting into sugar, getting into alcohol, nicotine, and all the stuff that actually can increase your stress level as well. They actually have counterproductive effects chemically on your body when you're actually trying to escape, to get rid of the stress. The effect of that actually is exactly counterproductive. Sleeping. The old-fashioned was 8 hours of sleep. Now these days we're talking about 6 to 8. Certain people seem to survive on 4. There are many, many successful people who actually do that. But what we are noticing now is that it's accepted that we want to have 6 to 8 hours of sleep as well. The last thing I want to talk about is just having a sense of purpose and achievement, and having realistic goal setting in place as well. One of the things that we find is, and I've done it myself as well, is that we set up goals which you already setting yourself up for failure. You know, I am going to lose 10 kilos within 2 weeks. Well, it's achievable, but potentially not in a healthy, realistic way. I am going to finish an assignment by such and such day. I'm going to do this or that. And when you know already, it's over ambitious, especially for your lifestyle as well. So appreciating that what you're setting up is going to give you a realistic goal as well. That will make a huge difference. I've talked non-stop, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to, I wanted to finish everything by 12:30 because we've got a lot more to do here. I've left a PowerPoint presentation for you as well. I've skipped some of the presentation, but please have a read of it later on if you find it interesting. Is there any question that you'd like to ask me before we move on to some bit of a hands-on workshop? No? That was, I'll get to that as well. I'll get to that as well.
Did you say the free coffee?
Yeah, that's it. But they've told me that's what it's not.
Student has more focus.
I have a shot.
There was one to give you.
I'll put one for you. No problem. If there is not, if it is overused, I'll get one for you before you leave. No problem.
You work yes, you too.
Oh, good. Okay, so ladies, could we have some of our lovely ladies? So we've got Nakeeta, Alison, and Rebecca here today. What we asked the ladies to do is actually take you through some stretches, take you through some stress management stretches. One of the areas that you get really tight, when you get stressed, where do you think you get most amount of attention? That's right. And you probably know that every time you stress, somebody comes and rubs you on. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually show you, not everyone, we have someone to, every time someone to massage you. So we're going to go through some stretches that you can do yourself as well. So if you want to maybe put your folders down, Are we gonna do seated? Alright, so the boss me around all the time. So I'll step out and then following that, what we're gonna do, we'll hang around and mingle, and we can have some food if you like, and I'll be around to answer some questions if you wanted to. And then 2 at a time will come up here, and then maybe the third person can do it there. Yeah. So then everyone can get a bit of a neck and shoulder massage as well.
You're starting from the center.
Start from this end. Just on that note, by the way, in your folders as well, just before I forget, there are some vouchers for you to use as well if you wanted to. So there is some complimentary consultation if you wanted to kind of take advantage. There is some discounted massage vouchers in there as well, which the girls have kindly put in there too. As well as there is a complimentary coffee voucher as well from the same place that gave us the food. And even though it says expired, it's not expired.
But I just asked you about the neurological scanning,
Yep.
EMG thermography scan.
Happy to answer. I'll let the girls who go through this and I'll go through it. It's a machine that we use. I promise. It's a machine that we use to be able to detect and mount muscle tension on either side of the spine. So you find that we actually use that on either side of the spine, which actually detects the amount of muscle tension you have. Because as you know yourself, your nervous system works on electrical supply. So it actually detects the amount of tension you have. So in a way, allows us to know where we need to address. And the good thing with that is the fact that it's objective. So if you have some massages, treatment, or strategies that you're going to implement, you can replicate that assessment every so often to see how you actually progressing as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so my purpose today is we're just going to look at combining some really basic stretches that you guys probably all covered previously, but we're just going to combine correct breathing techniques. So as you guys know how to breathe correctly through these stretches, which is also essentially a part of meditation, even though it's not. So it just means that you've got that downtime to just chill out and just make sure you're breathing correctly and take 5 minutes for yourselves. So the first stretch that we're going to do, there, and take a seat. Imagine that it's a normal chair, by the way. So you're just at your desk or you're sat at home on the sofa doing your day-to-day activity, and you start to feel this tension rising through the neck and the shoulders. So the first thing that we're going to do is just try and get some length through the neck. By increasing the length, what this is going to do is it's going to increase the blood, the oxygen and the nutrient supply through these areas that are becoming restricted because of our postures more than likely coming forwards. So it's really basic to do. What you're going to do is you're going to place one hand underneath your bottom, and everybody can do this at the same time, so make sure you can all feel it at the same. You're going to take your opposite hand and you're going to bring it over the top of your head and place it next to your ear. Okay. Now, the reason that you're sat on your hand is to stop this shoulder lifting up and elevating. Because we're stressed, we want to do this, which means we're not even breathing into our ribs, we're breathing in through our jaw and our necks. So we're holding the shoulders down. You're going to take this hand and bring it across, and you're going to try and bring your ear towards your shoulder, and as you can see, it's going to stretch through this area here. Does everybody feel that? Yeah? If there's anybody that's thinking, oh gosh, my neck just keeps going, and no, it's not really tight, what you're going to do is you're going to bring your chin to your chest slightly.
Wow.
And then you're going to start to feel that radiating towards the lateral or the outside aspect of the actual neck and shoulders. And then we're going to bring it back to the side, and then assist your neck, bring it back to the centre. Now everybody swap sides. So you've all probably gone for your dominant side that you probably think, oh yeah, this is going to go easy. So give this side a go and see how this side feels in comparison to the other side. So make sure you're sitting on this hand to help keep the shoulder lowered and take yourself, yeah, that's pretty tight neck. How does everybody else feel? Do you feel one side's tighter than the other? Yeah, awesome. Okay, relax there. Your next stretch that you're going to do is you're going to place your hands into the base of your neck, and you're going to bring your elbows as high as you can. Now, because we're all ladies and we're all the same, I'm presuming that everybody's boobs are paid for, whether they're natural or not, okay? So we're going to stick them out. So you're going to bring your elbows to the ceiling, and I want you to imagine where your bra line is in your chest, you want to bring this forwards and assist in bringing your chin backwards and lift it. Now in this position, where your bra line sits, I want you to inhale and imagine that you're trying to make it go even wider than what it already is. So this is called lateral breathing, and it's where we breathe into the external sides of our ribs rather than into our tummy or into our chest. So you should actually see your rib cage expand and then decrease in size as you inhale, yeah? So everybody take a deep breath in, make the rib cage go even wider, and then as you exhale, you'll feel it almost shrinking. Now you really want to do about 4 to 5 breaths like this because it can make some of us feel quite lightheaded because we're increasing the oxygen to the lungs and to the brain, okay? So if you do feel lightheaded, just stay seated for a few seconds. Awesome. Okay, the next one that we're going to do is... Pecs. So for this one, we're going to stand up, and of course they're all paid for, as we said. So I want you to find a position on a wall or find a partner.
Just partner, right? If you've obviously got access to a wall, then you'll place your elbow and your hand against that wall. And what we're aiming to do, imagine that there's a straight line from your elbow to your shoulder. You want to bring your shoulder in front of your elbow. So you're going to want to step and lunge forwards. So your boobs come forwards and the elbow goes back. You should feel it in through the top of the pec and the chest area. Do we all feel this? Yeah. Yeah. And if you turn away as well, you should feel it.
Yeah. So if you all turn your heads away from where you're obviously pressing against this beautiful wall, and then start to turn the opposite direction, you're going to start to feel it increase slightly if it's not already enough. So that's one way of stretching one of your pec muscles. The other way that we can do it with either partner or against the wall, Beck's going to go through this one for you.
One of the other areas of the pecs is the pec minor that gets quite tight. That's when we're constantly shrugged forward, when we're on the computer, when we're driving, when we're sleeping, okay, and that draws our neck and everything forward even more. So the angle for the pec minor stretch is more kind of about 135 degrees. Now, I have no shame. If I'm sitting at a cafe with a girlfriend, I'll be like this, just opening up. However, you can be doing it against the wall, you know, the shower wall, that sort of thing, while you've got the steam there. And we should start to feel it also come
So
down.
if you want to partner up, you can actually get away from each other as well. Basically hold on to the hands and then pull away. You feel that?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than going to 90 degrees, you actually just basically grab each other's hands, that's it. Make sure the elbows are straight. That's it. Yes, and then you roll away to the opposite side. You should feel it. Yeah. And sometimes, if anyone is getting some tingling in the fingers, anyone does? Yep, so that simply means your pec minor is extremely tight. One of the reasons behind it is the fact that your pec minor, the auxiliary nerve that comes from your neck actually passes through the pec minor and goes down as well. So if those muscles are really tight, it's interesting that can cause pins and needles and tingling in your fingers as well. But as you probably know yourself as well, when you are really stressed, what do? We do this, you know, so everything rolls forward. And that's one of the reasons the ladies are talking about opening up the chest. And obviously this can have a detrimental effect on your breathing, on your posture, on your tension, everything's also just opening things up. It really makes you issue. Sorry.
And if I can add that this is something that you can be doing if you don't have a partner or a wall handy, and it's something that I do in the morning while I'm waiting for the shower to warm up, so looking in the mirror. And even if it's as simple as just doing the shoulder rolls and then opening the chest up this way and leaning back, and also opening up through the diaphragm, because you roll forward so much, it almost becomes like a slater. You get caught forward in that position, and that becomes your default. It's a lot harder to kind of stretch yourself back up from that. So,
can I just add one thing as well? We have many mothers here. So one of the things that I love you to also keep an eye on your kids. So it's quite interesting that looking at the link between your posture and your mental mental and emotional states as well. And even though, I remember there was this exercise one time we did in a workshop that's saying, okay, everyone let's do it actually. Now, everyone get into this position, just in a really kind of, slouching, Now, stay in that position for me, please. Now, don't change. Now, be happy. It's really difficult. Now, do me a favor, let's just exercise this. Just go back, open your chest, stand proud, just head up, get into a nice posture, stay in that posture, now be really sad. And again, it becomes quite difficult because you're actually in a power happy position. But what is happening now, and we're seeing it more and more in adolescence, because of this, and I see my own kids as well, this, and all those kind of, handheld devices that we're utilizing, our kids and teenagers are getting more and more this kind of posture, the neck coming forward. And it's very interesting to monitor this in the next few years, in the next generation, to see how much of this kind of physically, we know physically is going to be detrimental, but is it going to have actually an effect on the mental and emotional states as well? So you probably notice most of the kids who are more introverts, they tend to be in this kind of position. Those who are extroverts, they seem to be standing or more apart as well. But posture itself has been seen in the kids to have a better posture, has got better absorption of or resorption of the knowledge and material that's actually being said in the classroom as well. So just thought I kind of throw that in there as well, even though it's going to be with stress, but it's just important for you to be aware of that. There was one more stretch guys you want to do, and then we're going to get into the massage. Yes?
So another one to correct your breathing techniques and just encourage you to use the whole of your lungs rather than just in this front position where we use our chest or we just use our tummy to breathe, is going to be stretching basically the underarm area. So you can take a seat, or you can do this standing. Try it in both because you might find that you get a better stretch in one position in comparison to the other. So you're going to take one arm up and over the head, and you're going to hold onto it with the other hand. With your back nice and straight and your chest lifted, you're going to start to exhale and reach over to one side. Now the secret behind this is imagine that you're moving your rib cage across the waist and across the hips. And then in this side here, which is obviously stretching, you're going to start to feel some quite sticky spots where you're thinking, oh God, that just does not stretch. What you're going to do is you're going to inhale into those spots specifically to encourage a bit of a stretch. Now if that's obviously too easy and you need to challenge yourself slightly more, what we're going to start to do is rotate through the chest and lift over on the diagonal action, and then you're going to get it more coming through the back and the sides as well. So elbows up to the ceilings, as high as you can. That's it, and then you're going to rotate that way. Can you feel that through the arm? Yeah. Awesome. Does everybody else feel that? And then obviously relax the arms, and then we go to the opposite side and just have a comparison as to how it feels on the other side. Because you would have all picked your dominant sides again. Does that side feel
I can definitely see difference in the range of motion as well. Those who are getting a bit of a cramping spasm, it again is an indication of how tight you are. But don't worry, you just match up on that side. That's good. All right. Are we ready? So please take a seat. This kind of finishes the formal, semi-formal part of the presentation as well. So what we'll do is, for those who are happy just to be seated, one of the girls will come around and actually give you some neck and shoulder massage as well while he's taking a seat there. If two people would like to volunteer to start, that would be great. Hopefully you enjoyed today. Hopefully you enjoyed the food. Hopefully the topic was of some interest to you. And hopefully you're going away with a bit of read up that material, with a few strategies and a few things that kind of make you think. So anyway, in such a short time we have, there is such a massive topic to talk about. So hopefully that helped. And I'll be around if you want to ask me any questions. And we would love you to give us some feedback afterwards. So I believe you've got your email addresses. If you don't, we might just grab it off you later on. And we might just send you a quick email. So if you can just give us some feedback, that would be great. So we can just do it better next time as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So who are the first lucky two?
Come on, Jack.
not doing it for us. The pressure might be too much, we might be freezing cold, or we just don't like the style. We need to say something. This is your time, your precious me time. And the therapist is going to be more offended if you've gone away, told your girlfriend, yeah, wasn't that good. They would be mortified. And we've given you our best efforts to try and give you what you need. We want to know what you need from the massage. If it doesn't quite match up, if we have plans that we think are going to work best for you in a remedial massage, then we'll discuss it. But essentially, the decision is yours. Okay, if the pressure's too much, then say something. And don't stop until you can relax into it. Having said that, you're not always going to have the perfect massage for you. And that's when it's important to just change your mindset a little bit. So instead of constantly thinking this isn't what I want, or trying to think about what you're doing for your shopping, try and be a bit mindful. Has anyone heard of mindfulness as a practice? It's more an awareness of your environment without a positive or negative attached to it. Okay, so you might be lying there and thinking about your five senses. So what are some things I can feel? I can feel the texture of the towel under my skin, the warmth of the towel, the warmth of the therapist's hands gliding over my back. What can I hear? I can hear the birds outside. I can just hear the hum of the air conditioning. And it takes your mind off that anxious, feeling of discord that you have, and you're able to more relax into it. Does that sound like you could all take that away? I'll share my own circumstance, that when I was pregnant, I went to a lady who I'd seen before for a massage, but maybe pregnancy massage wasn't her niche. It was the most awful massage I ever had, and it was 2 hours long because I was so ready for a massage. And to a point, I asked her what, if I could change the pressure, that sort of thing, but it just wasn't a good fit that day. So I had to practice what I preach and start to just enjoy it for what it was without making more out of it, okay? Because I was there for 2 hours, or I could have said, can we cut this short? And don't be afraid to do that if you feel like they're violating any of your principles, your privacy, that sort of thing. So I kind of went between, oh, that's a bit weird and uncomfortable, to, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just relax. And you can still relax if the situation isn't ideal, and I think that's important for all of us to